the deep state has worked to sabotage me. I could have been rich and famous and probably had a full-time ministry, be a pastor of a church, winning souls and edifying those souls if it hadn't been for this persecution program. And the deep state worked to sabotage everything that I'm doing. Including the targets also social media, where they work to make me have few views on my videos, sabotage my growth on social media. On top of the targeting in real life that makes anything hard in doing online or offline. I have made the videos. I have videos on Rumble, TikTok, Instagram, speaking the truth about what I've been taught with. This gang stalking persecution program, the deep state are working to keep the mass from waking up to, and I made lists where I've listed off pastors for the record, public record, that's out there. That can't be removed. I have it on TikTok, I have it on Rumble, I have it on BitChute, I have it on Instagram videos about what's been happening to me. I'm a Christian targeted, talk about the persecution program, talk about what it is, how it's been taught to me, and naming names, pastors, Christian pastor ministers that go on and target. So whatever happens from this point, that's out there. Like a seed, and with the right type of water, possibly it could grow. And what I've said is the truth. This is an accuracy. Well, that was a rapid deployment. This is an accuracy drill. Timing accuracy for knife fighting. Don't try this at home. Practicing for that is harder than the real world application. Because if you're knife fighting and you're practicing stabbing to the neck or slash the neck, there's something moving towards you. This is a drill that translates to real knife fighting ability, meaning you're practicing connecting to something. You can use a tennis ball size target, move towards you and connecting with it. Use a training knife, don't use a real knife like I did. You're training your timing, seeing, tracking object in space, and successfully connecting with it with the right timing. Meaning before this thing connects with you, which could be a punch or a grab, or it could be a knife arm and you're attacking that coming in. So as it's moving towards you, it's accuracy and timing. And one of the attacks I did was an uppercut stab. So it's catching the thing coming in and connecting with it. Now, that bottle was about this thick, a little bit thicker. And a human neck, which the chief targets on, is a lot thicker than that. So a head moving towards it, that's about, the width is about the same width as an eye socket. So that's harder it needs to be. But if you train for something that's harder, a lower level, if you can be accurate, hit something moving this fast, this small, it's easy to hit something this big, moving as fast or slower. I have enough fighting ability. I don't have to train to get to a point where I'm dangerous or damn dangerous with weapons or my body being a weapon. But I still training exercise. One of the things I've been discovered in teaching effective knife fighting is the reverse grip like this, stabbing like this, and do knife fighting 1-2s, 1-2, slash stab. Let's see, it's from here. The first one is a slash, which will slide off and bring me down here. Follow up with a stab, slash stabs for knife fighting is one of the most useful combos, like a boxer 1-2. If you get good at the knife fighting 1-2s, that's pretty much all you need. So you can go really far with that. So this specific knife fighting 1-2, slash stab, slash stab, or from here, slash stab. The first slash can be here, and then the follow-up stab to the neck. So it's
slash dab. So from here, slash 12 to 6, stab 6 to 12, which could be to the gut or the neck or whatever. But it's knife fighting 1-2s. That's good to be on different types. Knife fighting 1-2s. And that's, you can keep yourself occupied. Knife fighting training, just really 1-2s. There's so many variations, so many ways to practice it. But knife fighting 1-2s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, here, 2, with reverse grip. Now here's the surprise attack. I figured this out too. See here, it's like an uppercut. Where if you have a high guard, have the knife here. A more expected way to attack would be here, or here, or here. But if you go here, that can more likely to land. Also, is coming from below, so from here. You see here, which can go a little like an uppercut into the neck or under the jaw, or it can be here or here, wherever. But from here and then here. And you can also set it up by throwing one attack here, retract, here too. See, here it can be into the groin, stomach. If the distance changes even more, it can be under to the throat or under the chin. Here. Even it'll be like a hammer fist. So unorthodox hammer fist, most likely hammer fist, or like this, or here. Now a hammer fist, knife fighting, a lot of reverse grip techniques is basically hammer fisting techniques, only holding a knife. So since I can throw powerful hammer fist and hit with the fist, if I'm holding a knife, it's the same technique as a hammer fist, only a lot more dangerous because I'm hammer fisting a knife, see? And typically a hammer fist here is not as effective, doesn't hit as hard as a hammer fist from here. But once again, holding a knife, hammer fisting from below into the body is a lot more effective, obviously. And as I'm doing this too, I'm also throwing up a guard here, which is defense. From here, I can push into here. If it slides into the body, you can pull on it successfully. There's also knife fighting push pull. Another important part of knife fighting is being able to rapidly deploy the weapon from covert or over carry. That's the most important part. Well, it's one of the most important parts of knife fighting, rapid deployment. So from here, this is small enough to carry in the this pocket. See, and that's like slow gear. That's slow speed controlled, and it shouldn't take longer than that. Meaning how I count it, same thing as when I practice combos with great speed. It's being static, and from the moment any part of my body begins to move, I will have landed 6 punches in less than a second. And I've been doing that. It's similar to that. So from the moment the decision is made to deploy the weapon, and any part of my body begins to move, that's where it's coming from. Not from when you have the handled weapon. You start counting from the moment you begin to move to deploy the weapon, and you want to have landed an attack in less than like a second or around a second. Like a second or so is acceptable. Meaning from here, this clock starts from I start moving for the weapon. And that's around 0.9 seconds a second maybe. So at worst a second. Okay, 2 seconds is too slow. So from here, obviously it's easy if it's exposed like this. Here. Let's practice another. Don't try anything you see me do. At home it's dangerous. Now this is harder to deploy than it could be. If it was more securely attached and the sheet was attached to something, all I have to do is get a whip on the handle and pull. Now carrying it like this, with the sheet not attached to something, if I pull on it, there's a chance the whole sheet comes with, which adds a second step to the deployment process. Grabbing the blade and pulling the sheet. So there's different ways you can do this. You can go here, pull, and then if it is free or not, if it's free, you pull like an attack. Or I can decide to assist. See, so it can become, where I succeed in getting it out here, okay, and a way to do it where the weapon is free at this point. If it's not, just here. See, it becomes a second step of deployment is pull the sheet. I can decide to add that step at will at the beginning, where it becomes this, see, and then here. That's not bad. I'm not gonna do it the fastest, but I'm not doing it slow. Meaning that's the bar. I'm not doing it in a way where it could be set accurately that it's slow. Now on the hip, and notice how this is drilling the deployment process, the natural flow, where deployment followed by an attack. Okay. So getting the weapon out and quickly attacking. So it's building muscle memory if you're training this for the whole deployment process. It's practicing deploying the weapon and quickly getting a stab off. Now don't try this at home. Use a training knife if you do. I can expand out the first retract, and then launch an attack as I'm retreating. A simple way to deploy this one-handed, which I'm deciding to do it one-handed. So one way from in the pocket carry, I can grab the handle, grab the sheet with the non-dominant hand, the non-pulling hand, and then pull it, okay? Now I'm limiting myself to using only one hand. So from here, look at this. See, and it's free. And then the next step.
step is stabbing. Same here. Here. See? And with 2 fingers, you can free the sheet. Now, it's gonna be quite possibly harder to do if you got a knife like this recently, because it gets broken in. But every time you're pulling and inserting again, your paper's like sandpaper. You're loosening up a little bit, and it becomes incrementally easier and easier to deploy it. Now, in my experience, it never gets to a point where these type of sheets, the secure sheets, become so. In my experience, it's never become so much easier to pull it that it becomes a problem that you accidentally lose the sheet. But when you get it fresh, it's harder to deploy. You have this more force to trigger it with your fingers here. And it becomes easier and easier. But in my experience with cold steel knife, the cold steel Recon Tanto and this mini double edge, it's never gotten to a point. I've been doing this a lot, knife fighting and big part trainings, pulling it in all kinds of ways and deploying it. So there's been a lot of sheeting and resheeting done. And it never gets to a point where it's too loose. It's looser, but it's not loose. So this is a way to test the sheet. You should be able to do this. If you have a knife, fixed blade knife, you should be able to do this throughout the, in my view. As people know, it should be as slippery as butter. Well, I don't want to risk unsheathing the knife accidentally if I'm wearing the knife as I'm moving around and it becomes unsheathed. So you want it to be hard enough, but not too hard. So this, I like that I can do this, and this inertia gravity with this pull on the sheet, but it's not coming loose. See? And this, if you have it, carry it like this, you should be able to jump around without it coming loose. Now, willing it to come off, it's easy to have it come off. And one way to do it, the grab grip, and sometimes the grab grip is different from the fighting grip. We have a deploying grip, and you end up, depending on the knife and carry method, we end up with a not good stabbing grip. Now this works, you can thrust it into the body, but some knives and some sheets and some carry methods, some deploying methods, you end up with a not really good grip, like maybe like this, and then it becomes going from an improper grip to a proper grip. See? Now here, change it like this, going here, it's very, it's like it's finished. This is a functional grip. This is a grip that I can use to slash and thrust with it, because my fingers go from pushing the sheet off to retrieving and getting behind the finger guard again. So the same 2 fingers are already in movement. It becomes here and then here. See, it goes out and then in again. Then it becomes easy over time. So here, here, this is what I'm doing with my fingers pretty much. See, and here this is a functional grip. I have a power fighting style. Same with the boxing, where I like to throw everything with power. And I don't like this like little nimble like flicks for the wrists and like all kinds of stuff. I like to throw with power, and I favor thrusts. I prefer thrusts. Okay, I'm biased towards thrust for a reason. I believe I'm accurate in being biased towards that. So the thrust is the king. Okay, and with the thrusts, I like to thrust hard, redundant, meaning yes, stabbing this hard into the torso is enough to have it slide into the body. Now, if I throw really hard, yes, this can be enough if it gets to the belly to slide in there. Now, if it hits the rib cage, I want my attacks, my thrust to be hard enough and my grip to be strong enough, so that's part of it. To where if I connect with a hook stab and it hits the rib cage rather than the liver, it has a potential to crush and break through the rib cage
break the ribs or like break in between the ribs. Same as if I hit some other bony part of the body. A power fighting style. If the person's a leather belt and I go for like a low stab like this, I want to be hard enough where I have a chance, my attack is powerful enough, my grip is strong enough to where it can get through that belt and into the body. If the person has a leather belt or a felt belt, whatever, where the stab, if it connects to the belt, is powerful enough where it has a good chance of penetrating and slide through and still get through that object into the body. So I like to throw with power. Same with if I'm going to throw like a hammer fist attack to your head. I'd rather have it be hard enough where it can break through the cranium and get slide into the brain. Rather like if I hit, maybe I throw this, and it's like, yeah, if it hits the eye, it's going to slide in there and cause a lot of damage, just very low force. Now, if I'm going to throw this, I would like to have it be strong enough where I had the potential to hit the forehead and not just leave a little puncture wound, but it breaks through the cranium into the brain. So I like to throw everything with power. Now, if you throw with power with a bad grip, you lose the knife, and you're losing all the potential penetration if you have a bad grip. So you need to have a good grip and hit with power. It's like both are needed.